My first night babysitting the Antichrist. Okay, so what, do I just pick up where I left off? That's it. Alright then, I guess, I'm not going anywhere. So, as I was saying, the kid was watching Sesame Street. Just plopped down and sprawled out across the recliner. Obviously, being the babysitter, I went and greeted him properly this time. I approached him from behind, and just as I opened my mouth to introduce myself, his head snapped back towards me at a freakish angle. "Hello, Samantha," he groaned in this annoyed tone, like my presence alone was an inconvenience to him. "Oh, so your folks told you my name. Cool. Did they also mention that I'm the greatest babysitter this world has ever seen? I make outstanding cookies." The boy just stared at me blankly before turning back to the bright yellow, big bird, on the screen. Listen, I'd done my fair share of child watching before this, and I wasn't about to let some rich brat think he was too good for me. I simply walked over to the sofa and took a seat. "You like Sesame Street, huh? Who's your favorite character?" I asked. In response, Xavier coldly turned the television off and rose from his chair. Not gonna lie, watching him try and stay serious as the leg rest took its time folding back into its compartment almost broke me, and I let out a bit of a soft chuckle. Things weren't so funny, though, when he snapped his entire body toward me like a soldier, and that look of pure malice filled his eyes once more. After a moment of him burning a hole through my head with his gaze, he spoke. "I like Elmo," he said, brow furrowed, before stamping upstairs. "I'm sorry. I couldn't do it." I burst out laughing immediately. From the top of the stairs, I could hear him squeal out, "It's not funny," before the loud slamming of a door echoed out. "Alright, little man, whatever you say," I whispered under my breath. Figuring I'd leave him to his tantrum for at least a little while, I decided to explore more of the house, because holy shit man, you just don't realize how poor you are until you're in a mansion. Like, seriously, why do you need a satin quilt with Bill Clinton's face stitched in, draped over the armrest of your gleaming white leather couch? Who does that shit? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. One thing I couldn't help but notice was this enormous fish tank that was planted in the wall of the library. Yes, these people had a library. Can you believe that? Who even reads anymore? Damn, I'm getting off topic again, anyway. Whoever mounted the thing did a hell of a job, because it literally looked like a massive flat screen, just pushed an inch or two into the wall, but no, this was a full-blown fish tank completely populated with a thriving ecosystem. I was beginning to get lost in my admiration of the thing when, in the reflection of the glass, I noticed Xavier standing behind me. "Fuck kid, okay, listen, don't tell your parents about that. You only get a few more of those, so you gotta cool it with this whole sneaking up on me thing." And there he went again, same old cold stare, before saying in a flat, colorless voice, "Daddy said you can't be in here." "Oh yeah? What did he tell you that? Just now?" "Funny, because I haven't seen a single trace of your dad or your mom." He stared blankly again, before pulling an iPhone from his pocket. It was on the call screen, with the contact name, Father, displayed very clearly. "Psy kids today, right?" So he hands me the phone and, okay, the best way I can describe his dad's voice is, "Have you ever seen The Fairly Odd Parents?" "You have?" "Okay, awesome, well, picture Timmy's dad. That's Xavier's dad. But like, only in the voice. I don't know. Anyway, the brat hands me the phone, and his dad's all like, "Sammy, I know my wife didn't give you the go-ahead for your little library excursion. Why don't we just go on and get out of there, okay, pumpkin? And whatever you do, don't mess around with the books. Wouldn't want one to like, fall, or something." "Ah, whatever you say, Mr. Strickland. Also, I'm not YA pumpkin spice, I'm the full latte. The line went silent for a truly uncomfortable amount of time, before a very audible sigh came from the other end. Give the phone back to Xavier, please, he said. Yeah, right away, sir. I handed Xavier the phone, and bit my thumb as I watched him place it to his ear. I could hear what, honest to God, could only be described as the whomp 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 sound from Charlie Brown. At the same time, Xavier listened intently, eyes glazed over. The line grew silent again. Another uncomfortable silence came, before Xavier grunted out an okay, and hung the phone up, before dropping it to the floor. We both looked down at it, then back up at each other. You gonna get that, bud? No response. Seriously, I had no idea what the kid's deal was. Without taking my eyes off of him, I slowly bent down, and ever so slightly reached for the device, before he shouted out, "No," and made me fall ass over heels on the floor. As I was recovering, he spoke to me again, this time normally. Daddy said leave it. Out of everything that had transpired up until this point, I truly think this was the part that confused me the most. We both exited the library, and headed back to the living room. Xavier followed without a sound, not even a footstep. But once we finally got back from our long-ass journey through his long-ass hallways, the little bastard exploded, into a run, back to the damn recliner. I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I hadn't been left with any specific rules on how to sit this baby or anything. So all I really did was just lie on the couch, and watch Sesame Street with him for a few hours. At some point, though, it hit me, and I turned to ask. Hey, Xavier. Completely out of the blue question here, but how old are you? 4. 5? For the first time out of the entire day, I saw an honest-to-God smile appear on his face. Not the crazed, laughing smile from earlier. This smile was warm, almost wholesome, and he began to recite like a mantra. 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. This time it was Emmy staring at him blankly, and as sad as it may be, that warm smile melted away, and the utter indifference returned. So, you're 6. He shifted his eyes to me and analyzed me for a moment before responding, I'm hungry. Of course YAR, champ. Taking his words into deep consideration, I made the conscious decision to order a pizza, with my own money, mind you. Realizing that I needed to step up my babysitting, I thought it would be, I don't know, cool or something, for the two of us to watch a movie. I mean, we hadn't moved really at all that day since the library thing. So what were the odds he'd object? Xavier my boy, I inquired. What say you and I get a little cinema going with this grub sesh? Pizza should be here soon, so how about we go wash up, then you can pick the movie. Why are you talking like that? He replied, bluntly, without even taking his eyes off the television. Right? Listen, whatever, dude, go wash up and pick out a movie. Why are you even still sitting there? Kid you not, the brat rolled his eyes at me and groaned like I asked him to dust or something. I'm getting you a pizza, dude, be real. Anyway, regardless of the attitude, he obliged, and I could hear the sink in the kitchen as he dully sang, act deaf, you get the gist. When he came back, he had a newfound glow about him. He just smelled happier, and when he grabbed the remote and began browsing, my heart actually kinda leapt for joy a little bit. That is, until I looked at the TV, and saw exactly what he was looking for as he typed the word, Omen, into the search bar. Horror movie fan, huh? Yeah. I'm not that much of a spring chicken myself when it comes to that stuff. He turned to me slowly again and plainly murmured, I love this movie, before clicking on the title and locking his eyes back on the screen. Whoa, there, buddy. How about we get the grub before we start the cinema? Okay, but I love this movie, he replied, plainly. And just making sure, your parents know you love this movie, right? Suddenly, my phone began ringing. It was Mrs. Strickland. Hey girl. Just wanted to let you know Xavier loves The Omen. It's like his favorite movie ever. He'll probably wanna watch it before bed tonight. It's just something he likes to do. Just thought I'd give you a little ring aiding. To let you know that's just fine, MMKAY. See you Monday, girl, shuruu. There was a click and the line went dead. Huh, I said. Guess they do know. But, listen, you're still gonna have to at least wait for the... A deafening buzzing noise came tearing through the house so fiercely that I didn't even have time to cover my ears before my mind started vibrating. Once the buzzing had ceased, Xavier turned to me. Pizza, he said, as if amused. Disoriented, I waltzed over to the speaker by the front door to buzz the delivery boy in. I turned around to find Xavier behind me, hands waving in the air in celebration, but with a completely deadpan look on his face. Why are you so effing weird? His hands fell to his sides, and he quickly walked backwards to his recliner. After a moment, the fated knock came to the door, along with a truly sickening voice. Yo, I got a large sausage here. Large sausage with da pep, extra MOZ. Come on, man, I ain't got all day. I swung the door open, and was greeted by a truly greasy man illuminated by the porch light. UDA one that ordered the large sausage. I just stood there, mouth agape. I finally mustered up yeah, dude, yeah I did. Thanks, I can take that. I took the pie from his hands and began fishing around my wallet for a tip as the man took in the house's beauty. Nice place you got he. Fancy stuff. But those nuns in the drive. GOTS to go, creepiest things I ever saw. I managed to find a 5 and held it out in front of him. Well, I'm sure the owners will be thrilled to consider your opinion. Wait, no shit you ain't the owner. $5 on a delivery way out here. I tell you what, you enjoy your night, lady, he complained, aggravated. I don't know what to tell YA, man, I'm just the babysitter. Until next time, I said, attempting to close the door. Well, alright, but I'll tell you what, one of them nuns is missing, and unless it somehow walked off on its own, you've got a nun thief out here. Glancing over his shoulder, I could see that he was right. Even in the darkness, I could very clearly see that one of the perfectly placed nuns was missing. And that made my blood run cold. Thanks for letting me know. Goodbye, now. I closed the door and sighed. Now I was uneasy. Even more uneasy than I was when I first met the little monster cuddling up to watch The Omen in the living room right now. What can YA do, right? I locked up tight and made sure the porch light stayed on. After making a plate for Xavier and I returned to the living room to find him eagerly waiting with his eyes practically nailed to the screen. Alright, buddy, here you go. Feast up. He snatched the plate and started the movie without hesitation, motioning for me to get out of the screen lit up. I lay back down on the couch, pizza plate on my chest, and readied myself for the fright fest sure to ensue. Not gonna lie, the movie was absolutely gripping. Have you ever seen The Omen? It's petrifying. I myself couldn't keep my eyes off the screen, but the one thing that snapped me out of the trance is when a certain scene came on. It was the scene where the family is at that party, and Damien's just living it up, having the time of his life, before his nanny looks at him from a rooftop and is all, "Look at me, Damien, it's all for you," before jumping to her death. Jesus, why did they let him watch this? Anyway, though, yeah, as that scene began to play, I heard Xavier giggling. Just super childlike laughter that would have made sense coming from any other kid, but from Xavier it was utterly unhinged. Then it got to the actual line. "It's all for you." As it was recited on screen, The exact words fell from Xavier's mouth, and I heard him whisper under his breath, "Look at me, Xavier," before laughing some more. "Ah, yeah, I think the fuck not." I snatched the remote and turned that TV off immediately before instructing him, "Come on, kiddo, time for bed." He stared at me blankly. "The movie's not done," he whispered. "Yes, well, it's done for right now, come on." His blank stare curved and twisted back into that look of malice and hatred. "No," he barked, coldly. "Or is someone a whittle gumpy wumpy pants?" "Whittle gumpy pants, yes you are, oh yes you are." As I teased him, I scooped him up from the recliner and threw him over my back, which stirred up quite the storm. He kicked and screamed something fierce, but what stopped me in my tracks was when the sound of a palm smacking a window rang out and froze the blood in my veins. What followed was the very distinct sound of shifting concrete, just outside the front door. Quickly but carefully, I sat Xavier, who now had a smug grin on his face, down on the stairs as I rushed to the front door. When I opened it, all that greeted me was the night air and rich folk lawn ornaments. One thing did stand out, though. The nun was back. Right back in the exact same spot from before. Only this time, instead of facing down the driveway, it was turned directly towards me, almost staring at me. As we had our little staring contest, I felt a buzzing sensation in my pocket. It was Mrs. Strickland. What it be, what it do? It's Chicka Meridee in the house, ha ha ha. How goes it, girlie? Xavier giving YA a hard time. He tends to get a little cranky when he doesn't get that omen time in, weird little fucker, let me tell YA. Oh, but I love him though, my little cutie patootie. Hey, if you don't mind, would you let me talk to him? I obviously agreed and handed the phone to Xavier, as he repeated the same routine from earlier with his dad. This time, though, he just handed me the phone back instead of dropping it. Well, what did she say? He stared at me blankly again. All right, little man, whatever, let's go finish that damn movie. Without acknowledgement, Xavier stood up and walked soullessly back to the recliner. He resumed the movie without me even being in the room, but I didn't care. I just lay down on the couch and let him do his thing before falling asleep. Then, what? Good stopping point, huh? Well, I guess that is pretty much how the first night ended. I guess we'll pick up here again tomorrow, then. I'll fill YA in on what the next day looked like,